hey, and welcome to Cryptology for You, the channel that's not even about cryptology at all, but all about cryptocurrency. I'm your host, Paulie D, and in today's episode, we're going to take a look at how you can use a grid bot to DCA one of your favorite coins all the way down, and then put that coin somewhere to actually get some decent staking interest. This is not financial advice, no matter what you think it is. It's purely for educational purposes only, maybe even entertainment, depending which way you look at it, of course. But let's just take a look at what you can do with a grid bot, especially when it's not performing so well. So I had set up a Rose bot all the way back in January after a big dip, and it was doing pretty well at one stage. But more lately, after 80 something days, and yeah, it just got a bit too much. Not so well after that. Now we're sort of looking at negative $15 profit. That's quite a bit down, isn't it? You know, in fact, we're even trading just outside of the grid range, and you can see the price range here was down to about 21 cents, and we're just below that now. But even at 15% down, that's not unrecoverable. I mean, Rose is a pretty decent coin and probably could come back from that. But I was getting a bit tired of the bot, so I thought it was time to stop it. Now, at the start, if I had bought $104.25 worth, I would have got 342.821 Rose. So remember that 342.8 Rose, because I'm going to show you a little trick that could get you some extra coin, and you probably didn't even realize you could do this. So when I started the Rose bot all the way back in January of 2022, things were looking rosy. In fact, it was doing very well. I had made about 13% profit, and I was almost considering closing the bot back then, but I decided to leave it open. And then there was a January correction, and quite a steep correction, and that caused me to go a little bit in the red. And then there was another correction in January, which caused me to go even more in the red. Then there was another correction in February, and so on and so forth. And, well, actually, I did manage to return. I was back to around about 13% profit just recently, and you can see another video on that if you'd like. But all those little dips and corrections aren't always that bad. You actually have just essentially dollar cost averaged your bot all the way down to outside of its price range. Now thinking about it, every time your bot buys, it buys at a lower price. And every time it sells, it's trying to sell at a higher price. So in this case, I've just kept on buying and buying the dip. Now, I've bought so much in the dip because it kept on dipping all the way outside of the price range, I've essentially averaged my price that I have bought Rose to considerably lower than my buy-in price. So my buy-in price was about 30 cents, but we're going to see that I've actually managed to buy in a much cheaper set of Rose. So all I need to do now is stop my Rose bot and get my Rose back so I can get it somewhere that it can actually earn. So hit the power button to stop your bot. You'll now be presented with a series of choices. You can return both the coins that you have, which would be 343.9 Rose and 15 USDT. Or you can convert to Rose at the best market price, or you can convert everything back into USDT. You're in a loss, so don't do that one. So because I've dollar cost averaged, I may as well convert everything into Rose at the best market price. Once you click that, you'll end up getting the bot stopping, and once it stops, all of the Rose that you had just bought will end up in your trading account at KuCoin. So head to your trading account once the bot is completely stopped, and this should give you how much Rose you had. Now remember, that number I would have got 342 Rose if I'd bought all the way back at the beginning in January, but now instead, when I've closed the Rose bot, I've got 413 Rose. So I've got a lot more than what I would have got if I had just bought straight outright in January. Now, in order to get my Rose to where I want it to go, and I'm going to show you where I'm going to put it, it's a pretty nifty little place, I need to get from my trading account back to my main account. So make sure you transfer within KuCoin. That is completely free. You won't lose anything for that. However, there is a withdrawal fee when it comes to withdrawing. So make sure you check the withdrawal fee. But firstly, transfer from your trading account to your main account and hit confirm. The next thing I'm going to do is suggest you look up Oasis Wallet. I'll put a link directly below. The Oasis wallet is the native wallet for the Rose coin that I've just purchased. I've already opened up my Rose wallet, but what you'll need to do is start a new wallet if you haven't already, and you must get that seed phrase and save it, because you're going to need to use it to open up your Rose wallet from here on in. I've kept my seed phrase in a pretty secretive place, but I can copy and paste it straight in. You can probably work out some decent ways to do that. You can make an Excel sheet and copy the actual seed phrase into an Excel sheet and lock your Excel sheet with your own secret password. But whatever you do, make sure you keep that phrase, because if you lose that phrase, all of your chances of getting back into your Rose wallet are gone. It is super important that you keep that seed phrase and you never ever share it with anyone. Once you're into the Rose wallet, you'll see there you have a Rose address. Well, this is your address for this particular wallet. Now, this is a non-custodial wallet. It is not held at an exchange, so this is your actual Rose address. So back at KuCoin now, I'm at my main account and I've got my Rose, my 413.9 Rose, and I want to withdraw this so that I can withdraw it straight to my new Rose wallet. When you start a withdrawal at KuCoin, you need to fill out a few things. Firstly, the wallet address, so I just copied that straight from my Rose wallet. Then you need to put in the network. If there happens to be another network, then make sure you're using the correct network. If you use the wrong network, you could lose all of your coin. In this case, it's just the Oasis network to the Oasis network. There's a fee from the 413.9 in order to withdraw of 0.1 Rose. So I'm actually withdrawing 413.8 Rose to my wallet. You can put a remark in there, but that's only needed if you're sending this to someone who you don't know. In this case, I'm sending it to myself, and I know me. Now that you're heavily into the withdrawal process, you're going to need to put in your trading password, and you're going to have to send a code to get to your email verification, and you're going to need to use your 2FA code. Now, you really should have all of this set up previously on your KuCoin account. It is the only safe way. Hackers can get into your account very easily. They can pretend to be an admin of KuCoin and ask you to log in, and as they're doing so, they might ask you for some of the actual numbers you're using to log in, and then they will have access to your account. But if they have access to your account, you don't want them to withdraw anything from your account. And so make sure you set up your 2FA and do not ever give that to anyone ever under any circumstance, ever, never. No way. Right, well, I've put in my trading password up here. Yes, it is really star, 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 star. Once you've hit the send verification for your email, you've got about 1 minute to pop that in and your 2FA code, and then click submit. It's a very quick process once it happens, because Rose is a very fast network. It took less than a minute for me to see my 413.8 Rose sitting in my Rose wallet. Now, it's great having 413 Rose sitting in my wallet, where I probably would have had just over 340 Rose. Instead, I have 413 because of my DCA wiliness. But what I really want to do is make even more Rose. And the best way to do that is to stake. So click on the stake button in your Rose wallet. And here you will be greeted with a whole bunch of places where you can stake. Now, it's up to you to look through these to find which ones are the best, because some of them have higher fees than others, and of course, some have far more Rose staked. The more Rose staked, the more chance you have of getting a stake yourself, but you'll get a smaller amount because you have less of the overall stake. Of course, you could go further down and start getting something which has a lower amount of Rose staked, but then you run the risk of not getting as many stakes, but you will get more for each one that you do receive. Staking is just a way of securing the network, and you get a reward for doing so. You literally get a reward for just holding your Rose. And if you hold your Rose at a place where you can get some good staking, you will get a decent amount of Rose in return. So I chose to go with Stakefish this time, and Stakefish seemed like the most likely place to go for. It had a cool sounding name, and plus they had the highest amount of rows already staked, and so you'll get a lot more stakes, but smaller amounts each time. I took a look at Stakefish also. It wasn't just the name, and they were offering between 2 to 20%, which seemed about right for rows at this time, but the big thing was they were only asking for about 5% commission, and they could ask up to 20%. But they were only asking 5, and I thought, well, that sounds a little bit fair, and they are the highest number of rows staked. Well, I decided to stake 213 of my 413 rows there, and all I needed to do was click this delegate button, and bam, all you have to do now from here is confirm it. Once you've confirmed, there it is. You have now a balance of just 200 available rows, and 213 is already staked. That really was it. Now it's getting interest. So once you've got all your staked rows, now it's earning almost instantly. In fact, just 5 minutes later, boom, I already earned a little bit of rows. This is crazy quick. And then I just decided to refresh and take a look another few minutes later, and bang, I'd already made another little bit of rows. It goes up pretty quickly actually. You're likely to see more than 20% at this rate. Be careful with where you're choosing to stake your rows though, because it still does take a few days to debond. Once you've reclaimed, even though it's easy to reclaim, it can take up to 2 weeks before you see that rows back into your wallet again. There are other places you could choose to invest, and that includes Binance, and I will put a link below. I just didn't want to lock my rows up for 120 days for 27% interest, but you could do that. As always, you are to do your own research. You're welcome to invest into Rosecoin if you want, but I have not told you anything about Rosecoin, only how to stake it. I'm not affiliated with the Oasis Network, Rosecoin, or anything that has been shown in this video, but I'd be happy if you found a project that you wanted promoted. I'll probably sell out to a sponsor in no time. You could always join up with our Telegram, Discord, or Facebook groups, and I'll be there to chat with you if you want, and some other people maybe even could be inclined to do so. Don't forget, below there are some links that you could use as well that aren't just related to Rosecoin and the Oasis Network. There are some pretty nifty deals down there too, and you could be welcome to check those out, and we can all benefit. If you have liked this video, don't forget to subscribe, and you could share this video too, you know, why not? Some people might want to know a little bit about Rosecoin, or even what happens when a bot goes into the deep red. Look, I've been your host, Paulie D, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.